Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. We did it. We all made it through 2020 intact. Well, except for the Buick. The Buick is very much not intact right now. It is in pieces. And right next to me sits a pile of boxes full of parts that will hopefully allow me to rectify that situation over the next couple of days. So let's dig this stuff out. You know, it occurs to me that there are probably stupider ways of doing this, but I haven't found one yet. Big whole load of parts here. So what we've got is General Motors oil pressure sending unit, 6 of the proper iridium tip spark plugs. Oh, there they go. They just don't want to live anymore. A new wheel hub, a Gates water pump, 2 of these nifty blue sway bar end links, Felpro supercharger gasket, Felpro water pump gasket. Look at that thing. That's kind of neat. Felpro valve cover gasket set, 3 Rock Auto magnets, and a large Quick Trip coffee. What we don't have that I've ordered that gets here in a couple days is the upper radiator hose, lower intake manifold gasket set, and the coolant elbows and O-rings, and those are 2 different parts. I'll get into that when those parts get here, but there is a reason for that. So for now, I guess we can do the front valve cover gasket. Zeph's trying to come up with a rear valve cover for me. I can scrape off the gasket material and maybe look at that oil pressure switch. Also, it's cold in here. It snowed. See? Snow. Stupid Miata's stuck. Like literally just a little bit of snow, icy snow under those tires is enough to stop it dead in its tracks. Pilot Sport, all season, 3+, not amazing in snow as it turns out. And because this is the most snow we've gotten in literally 7 years in Kansas, I don't own a shovel of any kind. This might move before that does. Oops. Oh no, we got stuff falling. Well, there's what 220,000 miles looks like. Not all that bad, really. And with the valve cover off, I can more easily clean out all the detritus from around the injector holes with a rag. Hopefully nothing falls in there. And clean the valve cover itself, new gaskets, and slap it back on. The water pump mating surface is actually cleaning up real nice. Need to go get some Scotch-Brite to finish that off, and then the new water pump can go on as well. Okay, flashlight. We've got the power steering pump taken off so that we can get to the oil pressure sending unit, which is that thing right down there that's absolutely covered in oil. All the rear plugs are out, and these rear brackets for pulling the engine are also out. Those are not going back in. Those are dumb and redundant, and those things just get in the way, and there's so many better places to lift this engine from if you're taking it out. I mean, look at all these bolt holes you have to choose from. So we got these old plugs out. They look fairly expired. Also took off all the what looked like factory original spark plug wires and got some new ones of those. Got the new plugs put in the back, got the mating surface cleaned off for our new water pump and gasket, and right now down there I am taking out the oil pressure sending switch, which is clearly faulty because this thing just reports 100 and something PSI all the time. So once that's done, I can put the power steering pump back in place, just 2 bolts there. You can see they're kind of captive by the pulley. There's a hole in it that you go through for that. Put that back in place, and then I can start on the water pump, and then I guess putting the new plug wires back in and doing the valve cover gasket for that front valve cover, and that's probably going to be it for tonight because I'm waiting on more parts. Here is our new sensor all ready to go in. It's just a 1 inch and a 1/16 hex there, and it's got to be a really, really deep socket, or you could screw up this plastic bit here. There goes that. Already has thread sealer on it, so we can just pop this back in and start putting things back on instead of taking them off. Won't that be nice? There's our shiny new oil pressure sender sitting pretty. Now that power steering pump has to go back on, and then a water pump, and that'll pretty well wrap up this part of the engine. It is quite nice to see nice shiny new parts on this dirty old engine. New water pump is in, bolts are torqued down, and I put that idler back on as well. The rear plugs are in, so now we got to put the wires in. These are actually factory wires here, which is kind of neat because they have numbering on them. So you can see here we've got wires 2, 4, and 9. Jake, that's probably a 6. It's probably wire number 6. So I just got to length match those up with my new wire set here. So yeah, factory wires after 220,000 miles. Yeah, probably time for these to go off. To get the old wires off, one thing we had to do was actually break the spark plug to get the wire off of it because they were just stuck here. The new boots have dielectric grease already in them, so hopefully that won't be as much of a problem if these ever have to come off. Look at those pretty new wires. Shame I gotta take them all off because I forgot to put boot grease on them. Well, a pretty productive evening. We got the water pump on, we got the oil pressure sender done, the power steering's back in place, plugs and wires are done, anti-seized and greased. Not bad. So when the lower intake manifold gaskets get here, we can get started on reassembling the intake and supercharger, and the coolant elbows are in the same package, so all that exciting coolant stuff will happen all at once. I can't tell if that's my patchy beard or grease on my face, so that's neat. If you want to see more of what I've done with this car, check out the Buick Park Avenue Ultra playlist that this video's in, and if you want to see what I do in the future, make sure to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to get in first. Also, leave a comment for what you want to see me do to this car. I'm still a bit undecided on if I want to modify it or leave it stock or showroom fresh or OEM plus or what, so help me make a decision on that. And thanks for watching.